Hello everybody and welcome back to Noel's Big Family Life. I am Noel and thank you so much for stopping by. We're doing another full day of meals with cheap eats. So I'm going to start off with some breakfast. I sprayed down with some nonstick spray my air fryer, and then I'm adding in some already cooked potatoes. And I'm going to top that with some chili powder, onion powder, and seasoning salt. Now you could definitely make these in oil and fry them in oil on top of the stove, or you could bake them if you do not have an air fryer. These taste so good. I do them in the air fryer at 370 degrees for about 25 minutes. And then just take them out and shake them halfway through. And then this is what breakfast looks like. So I served it with some scrambled eggs and cantaloupe and blackberries. And now on to lunch. It's a very fall day here, so I thought I would make our fall chili. And to do that, I am making this in the Instapot, but you could definitely make this in a crock pot or on top of the stove. I started off with 2 cans of Rotel. I just used Aldi's brand. And then this can of chili beans from Aldi. It already has some chili powder in it. A little bit of soy sauce. A little bit of liquid smoke. That will give it a meaty flavor without having the meat in it. And then this is what makes it fall. So I'm adding some nutmeg, just a little. Crushed red peppers if you like it spicy, and if you don't, then just leave that out. Quite a bit of onion powder. Some garlic powder. Some cinnamon. Some chili powder. I like to use the dark chili powder. I just get that at Walmart. I just think it has a better flavor. Then I am using a little bit of coconut sugar. For this, you could definitely substitute a little bit of brown sugar, white sugar, or just leave it out altogether if you don't want it to be sweet. And then some frozen pumpkin. And then I'm adding some frozen bell peppers and onion. And you could saute that first if that's what you like to do, but I'm just keeping it simple as I can for lunch. A can of crushed tomatoes and 2 cans of black beans. Give that a good stir, and then I am just going to cook that on high for about 10 minutes and let it do a natural release. Now you could top this if you wanted with some cheese, sour cream, anything like that you want. Serve it with crackers. We are serving it with rice, and I just went ahead and made a huge batch of rice, so that way I had it for dinner also. So now let's go on and move on to dessert. So for dessert, I am making snickerdoodle cookie bars. So you're going to start with 1 stick of butter softened, 1 cup of sugar, and cream that together. And then I'm adding in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 egg, 1½ teaspoons of vanilla, 1 cup of flour, and then just mix that up really good. And then I'm taking a brownie pan, so an 8x8, and I am lining it with parchment paper. And then I'm going to add the cookie dough to that. Now to spread this out, I just wet my fingertips so that it didn't stick, and that way I could just push it out nicely to all the edges. And I did go on and trim my parchment paper because it was driving me crazy. So then top it with some sugar and some cinnamon, just like you would snickerdoodles. But then I had these cute little fall leaf sprinkles. I've had these forever, and I just love to sprinkle them on stuff when I do some baking in the fall. I just think it's very festive. Completely optional. And then this bakes at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. And this is what it looks like when it comes out, all done. And now on to dinner. Firecracker chicken. This is a huge hit at my house. So I just start with some cornstarch in a baggie, and I'm going to add some chicken tenderloins that I just cut up into bite-sized pieces, and just shake that up really good. And then I'm going to pour that back out, make sure all the pieces are coated. And then to my bag, that same bag, I'm going to add 1 egg. And then I'm going to just go on and squish that up so that I'm kind of beat the egg in the bag. And then add my chicken back. Shake that about. And then I'm going to go over to the stove and heat up some vegetable oil in a pan and fry these until they are browned. And this is what they look like, all nice and brown. And then I'm going to just transfer that to a baking sheet and pop that in the oven at 350 degrees. But it's not going for very long, just long enough for me to make the sauce that I'm going to put on top. Definitely just make sure that your chicken is cooked all the way through. So to make the sauce, I'm adding some Frank's hot sauce, about a 1/3 cup. And then you're going to add about a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Now you can play with this ratio a little bit. If you don't like it spicy, add a little less hot sauce. If you like it spicier, add a little less brown sugar. And then I'm just stirring that around. And then I'm going to add a little bit of rice vinegar. If you do not have rice vinegar, then you could just use regular vinegar. And a little cornstarch to help thicken it up. And then just cook this over top of the stove until it starts to thicken. And then you're going to add your chicken, toss it around, and that's it. Now we're going to serve this over top of some rice. With a side of vegetables. I'm just using a stir-fry mix. And then I also like to top it with just some sesame seeds, but you do not have to do that. And here it is, all done. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to give a big thumbs up.